These little spiky bits just need sanding off this box, so we're going to do that. Doesn't take very long at all, just to give them a little once over. Get them nice and smooth. Nice. Just going to give this little top bit a sand. What's this? 120, that might just do. Just going to get 120 grit and just rough up these little bits here, so it gives the silicone a chance of gripping. Doing this manually because I think using the machine I just over sanded it before. There we go. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention I've got a little handle on the door now, so the screws don't go through. Let's just try that. You can see it's a snug fit, which is kind of good. It means it's not going to fall out. But I've got to find a way. That string really isn't going to hold that on, is it? Maybe I've got to extend the string, or maybe we just cut that off. And then that, you can see it's a little bit tight. But let me just get it like this. Yeah, it's a little bit tight. Wonder why that's so tight. So it's obviously catching. It's not this side. It's just catching on this other side somehow. Yeah, it's along this sort of edge here. So I'll have to sort that out. I mean, over time that will loosen up. Just seeing if I can see it. It's just the layers of, yeah, and I think if I put a little bit of string around that so I can give it a tug, then that will work. I think that'll be okay. So let's get one last coat of epoxy on here. We'll fill those little gaps in the back there, and we'll get this siliconed up. A little bit of acetone to clean these edges up. Make sure there's no dust on them. I may as well do the rest of this while we're at it. Right. So, one thing I've done, which is a bit stupid, is put this on. I'm going to have to take this off, otherwise I'm not going to have a flat edge for this. So we'll just take those off. To be honest with you, those screws probably need a dip in some epoxy anyway, but well, they don't really. So just move those out of the way for now. So that now we need to just go and measure, see if we've got a level surface. Oh, that's quite level. That's not so level, so we just need to, let's make, just going to get some lolly sticks. There you go. So we just need to make sure that's nice and level. It doesn't have to be super perfect level. Yeah, and then that corner maybe. It doesn't have to be super perfect level. Have I done that the wrong side? I have. To be honest with you, that is level there now. So the reason I'm getting it level, actually no, that is bang on, isn't it? The reason I'm getting this level is that when we fill this with silicone, obviously if it's not level, it'll all gravitate down the bottom and the seal won't be equal. The next step is to get some kind of barrier around here to give us then that little trough to fill up. So we're going to try with this. This is called frog tape, and it's like decorators. It's like masking tape, really. And I'm just going to get... Actually, I'm going to start with this side. And I'm just going to get this. I do apologise. I've just caught my finger again. And I'm bleeding all over the blooming place at the moment. So we're going to do that. Just my only issue with the frog tape is if we can get it to stick properly. I'm just going to give it a little crease in there. So, and also, you know, it needs to stick well, but it also needs to seal as well against the wood. But you see the general idea what I'm trying to do here. So then what we're going to do is kind of fill inside here. Fortunately, that piece didn't quite reach, so let's just get another piece on there, patch that up. Now, it does need to, it does look okay, but I'm worried it's not going to stick enough onto these thin sides. It seems to be, no, it's not sticking. So okay, frog tape failed. So I think what we'll do, we'll go for something with a bit more stick about it, which would be the electrical tape. The problem with my electrical tape is it's not very oh, that's not sticking at all. Definitely clean this with acetone. I just, so obviously sometimes the you know, the epoxy will bleed the nitrites, I think it's called, as it's curing, and it feels almost slimy. So, but I have given it a good old rub down. So let's do another rub down quick, and let's make sure we're, that's a bit better. We'll just start again with that. Let's give this another go, see if it's that. If this doesn't work, then our options are to use, you know, something with a bit even more stick, like we're in the realms of Gorilla Tape, I think, then. But I'm hoping this will stick. Time will tell. Now, if it does drip out a bit, the beauty of silicone is it's really easy to work with. So I'm going to put that back on the little stands there. Just going to check the... Yeah, I mean, we're there or thereabouts, aren't we? And now I'm going to mix up some silicone. This silicone is starting to go off. It's a little bit old and it's not quite as loose, shall we say, as it should be, but it's still workable. 70 in there, we should have 7 of this. Yeah, it is mixing, just needed a little bit of work. And the one thing I am going to do as well is I'm going to put a little bit of dye in here, some grey or black dye. The reason for putting the pigment in is that not only does it colour it a little bit better colour, I guess, but it does have a tendency to thin out the silicone a little bit. It makes it a little bit more wibbly wobbly. So that's the real reason we're doing this. There we go. Right, let's give it a pour. Yeah, it's definitely sticking. I think that is sticking. Right, let's go. Let's see what we can do. We'll do a nice tight little bead, as tight as we can. We'll pour it kind of as evenly as we can. You can see it's leveling out okay, which is good. And I think we'll leave it at that. Whoop. There you go. We can clean that off later. It's not a big deal. So that'll take about an hour to set. And we'll just leave that there. And we'll let that set and we'll see if it works. Little delivery. Put the wrong ones in. These are supposed to be my new bolts to go with the I'm just trying to find the other ones. My new bolts that go with the for the motor pad, but these are supposed to be the same length but without the pad eyes on, or whatever they're called, on top. Got my spare piece of this. This is new Mech P, I think it's called, because the other Mech P that I had was completely the little jar had broke when I got it, so this is now a proper decent jar. And this is the stuff that you put in your gel coat that stops it, that cures it. Right, exciting times. This is set. It cures kind of over 24 hours fully, but it's definitely set enough to take this off. So there you can see. Now the silicone should come off this epoxy quite easy, and that is the worry, that I think it will peel off here if you're not careful. But this is looking quite good. I'm just gonna take off these little bits here because they'll get in the way of the door. And you know what? You know, this is all an experiment. In fact, the whole channel is one big experiment. So, you know, what doesn't work won't break us. And now this should go into here. And the idea is, hopefully this will make sense to people now, is this has formed a gasket, and quite a spongy one too. You'll see, look. So this should sit on, well, it should stop water once you put a little bit of pressure in there. You can see how well it squeezes. Now the acid test will be, you know, if it comes off or not. Now I have got some other ideas. I could actually now paint some silicone over here so it sort of keeps attached to the box a bit better. But I reckon, you know, I can try that another time. I'm going to leave it like this. I'm not going to be opening this box like all the time, but I'm quite pleased with that. One door finished, and I've actually had to epoxy. I thought I had a little bit spare pair of this epoxy left, so I've actually re-glued this because it just came apart earlier today. I did use this Gorilla Glue and it seemed to work quite well. This is the classic Gorilla Glue, but it just seemed to just crumble a bit. It might be water. Not sure if that is waterproof. I don't know. But this epoxy, hopefully that'll do a better job. Only little gripe I've got with the DJI cameras is this stick that comes with the Action or Adventure pack. This little bottom bit here is a bit weak. It doesn't go up enough. And yeah, just a bit weak and naff really. Especially when you got it on your big long pedestal. So yeah, something you've got to be careful of.